Hey, Super Seventh graders, it is Miss Haig here with your Week at a Glance for week 14, December 7th through the 13th. Couple of things this week. We are going to just be looking at two lessons. The first one is called The Recipe for America, and it's sort of a social lesson. And the second is Who Has the Powers in Congress? For the For 03.02, you are going to be doing a fillable assignment. And if you notice, there's a couple of vocabulary words, which are pretty straightforward. And then this assignment looks a little bit like the one that we did on who contributed most to the Civil War. So you'll notice it's set up kind of the same. You're going to gather information about Native people, African Americans, women, and children. And I gave you the headings here to help you. You're going to be looking for this image on tab 2. So let's go find that together just to make sure y'all understand how to do it. So tab 2, I scroll down, there's the image, and you can click begin. You can listen to it if you want. Y'all know I like the text version. And so if I go to the text version, I can see Native American sports, and it talks about stickball. I go back to my fillable sports. Here we go. I'm going to talk about stickball. Go back and forth. Oops, that's the wrong one. And I look at crafts. And so I'm going to write down what I learned about crafts here. Okay. You are also welcome if you want to take a look at the slide deck that I made for this assignment. And it looks like this. You'll notice it goes in line with exactly what you're going to be looking at. So for those of you that prefer to have some visuals, that might be something that you want to take a peek at as well. After you complete that, you're going to write down what impact you think it had. This is not listed in Buzz. You're going to just talk about, wow, I didn't realize that stickball was related to lacrosse. It showed that there was some free time and that people enjoyed that time, etc. When you get down to the bottom, just like the lesson on who contributed to the Civil War, you're going to make a claim. Which group made the greatest contribution to American culture and society, and then list your evidence here. All right, pretty easy, pretty straightforward. The second lesson that we have for this week has to do with who had power under the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation were the first attempt at government. It preceded the Constitution. Technically, it was the first Constitution, but because it was short-lived and they didn't really think of it as a constitution, I guess. It is just called the Articles of Confederation, which means it's a legal term for a document that binds different pieces together. In this case, those pieces are states. It is another fillable assignment. And if you look, the very first thing that I ask you to do actually has you use the class notes. So you're going to click the link to get to the class notes, and you're going to write down some information on Federalists and Anti-Federalists. This is not in Buzz, but I felt like it was really important for you to understand, to have some background. And here's the short of it. There were two different groups during the American Revolution. Some that thought the federal government should have a lot of power, and some that thought the states should have a lot of power. And so if you understand the difference between the two, the rest of this becomes a lot easier for you to complete. So you're going to write down the beliefs of the Federalists and three important people that were the Federalists. Hint, hint, there are pictures and their names are there. You got this, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to write down some information about the purpose of the Articles of Confederation, which of these powers went to the federal government and which went to state governments under the Articles of Confederation. And then I have you doing a little art analysis. So you're going to take a peek at this picture and tell me what your observations are. What do you see? In your analysis, what do you think? You got this, nerds.